Producers are obsessed with the minimal bass-heavy sound that Max Slider has. His tracks are built for dance floors. They're powerful, groovy, and engineered to keep the energy high all night long. So, in this video, we're gonna break down his bass line, the timbre choices, the call response, the groove, the subtle variations that keep them really engaging so you can start making in your own tracks as well. Let's dive right in. Let's first listen to the bass line. In context. And now check the MIDI. We're playing a 1/8 note, almost like a real bass line, but we're playing a different scale. Instead of playing the minor scale, we're playing the Phrygian scale, because here we have the root note, which is D sharp, and instead of going one tone up, we're going one semitone up to give a darker feeling, as you can listen again. And if this was in minor, it just gets a bit happier. We want to have that dark feeling into it. That's why we're using Phrygian. Now let's go a little bit into the sound design. We're gonna get started here with Serum. And we have two wavetables. We have the main wavetable, which is this I can has kick, and we have this sub layer, which gives a little bit of instability, but mainly gives a lot of character to us. First, let's go into the envelope, and you can see that this is pretty much the same as what it is in the default. And we have the filter cut off a lot down, but this filter is being modulated by this envelope number 2. Without it, and with it. So we're getting a lot of character here based on this envelope 2 and also envelope 3. This is giving us a little bit of attack, as you can see this over there. But the main thing comes over here from the sub. Listen without the sub and with the sub. And this doesn't only come because the sub is there. It comes because we're doing FM from the sub. We're doing frequency modulation from the sub. And we're controlling this modulation with this LFO. As you can see it starts simple. And in the end of the phrase, we do some automations. Where this becomes a bit bigger. And you can ask me, is it doing that much of a difference if we bypass it? It gives that warm, aggressive feeling into the bass line. We also have a bit of EQ here just to boost a bit of the mid-range without. Just boosting that high mids, but we're also taking a bit of the low mids off and just doing some frequency changes over here as well to get rid of some annoying frequencies. And to finish everything, just a bit of side chaining just to get this controlled along with the kick. Without it, we want this pumping effect. That's why we're doing the side chain. And that's step number 1, but we can make this more interesting. To make this deep bass a lot more interesting, we can add some accent layers like this one. It's just really nice because it accents a bit of the main bass line's progression while also giving a really warm and MIDI bass line that punches us in the face. So that's really cool. But what are we doing here in the MIDI? If we compare it along with the main bass line, we're playing exactly the same thing. But we're also playing this with different notes over here, different tempos to get it a bit more groovy. And you can see that this note over here doesn't hit exactly with the main note. It hits a little bit delayed. But let's go into the sound design. Here we have something that needs to stand out and needs to be a lot more in your face. So we're using, again, I can has kick, and we're also using here the FM because this FM gives a lot of character to the sound, as you can listen here. Making this a bit wider and also taming a bit of the low end because we already have a really bass low end over there. But also remember that we cut a bit of the low mids over here. We're giving this low mids to this accent layer exactly to make it stand out in one area of the bass line. And again, as always, just using an envelope to create that plucky feeling. We're doing something over here in envelope 1, but envelope 2 is what creates this kind of plucky sound. Listen to it again without it. Barely plays. That's what gives a lot of the sound here in the high mids. We have a longer envelope 1 and a snappier envelope 2 to give a bit of that snap in the sound. And that's step number 2. But now we can make some call and response into it as well. Now, since the bass number 1 will be sort of a call, we're going to add a response with the bass distortion just to add a bit more into this progression. Listen to the call. And here's the response. Really similar to the progression that we were playing before in the main bass, but just a simple hook. And if you want to make it more about this response, you can even double it and play around with this note, for example. Just to make it a little bit more interesting and also to match it with the main bass that you have over there. But again, let's go back to the original one. And what are we doing here? Again, sidechain, and we're going here into the layer. Again, I can has kick. This is a really versatile wavetable that you can do pretty much a lot of things. We have it as the main wavetable, and we're doing phase distortion from B. What is phase distortion? We can see that B is not even active. But without it, and with it. This gives that kind of squeaky kind of feeling into it, and that's what makes it really gritty and really interesting. We also add a bit of tube distortion without it. This pushes the loudness a lot more and makes this sound a bit more gritty. Again, this is complementing the phase distortion that we're doing there. What about the sound? Different than the other sounds that we're using envelope 1 and envelope 2, now we're using just envelope 1, and this is modulating this cutoff. Since I don't want this to be so open and so plucky, this filter is already a lot open, but the envelope kind of creates a little bit of a plucky feeling still over there. And that complemented with the whole groove. And just to tame some resonant frequencies, and now we can move on to step number 4. Step number 4 is to complement your bassline with elements that will restart your bassline. For example, this one. If you listen in context, restarting this just to bring something before the loop ends to make your progression more interesting. And you can see that again, it's just a note playing. Every 3/16 something happened, as you can see it. And this brings a new character into the sound. This brings something a little bit more interesting, a little bit more distorted, more phasey in a way. Of course, we're cutting the bass line over here because we already have the main bass over there. A bit of sidechain, and as you can listen just to this one, this again has a bit of phase distortion now from the saw wave without it. And you can see how this changes the sine wave, and also with a bit of cutting in the high end, because without it, with it, this notch gives that MIDI feeling that we're listening. This doesn't pluck. You can see that we're not modulating anything. It's just a bum 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 kind of sound that adds a bit more warmth into the sound and restarts the loop. But before we start, we need to go into step number 5. To finish our progression, we have this step that almost plays along here with the bass distortion that we added in step number 4. And as you can see it, that's what it does. And you can even complement this sometimes, making it not only play once, but sometimes playing it twice. Something like this. Give a boom, boom. Or without it. This is a wow bass, and this wow bass pretty much is going to finish the restart that we set and we started in step number 4, as you can listen here. Just so we can wrap this up and go back to the beginning of what we had started before. But what are we doing here? Just boosting a bit of the low mids, and as you can see, this is a different kind of sound because we're using a wow sound. And this wow sound happens because in the envelope 2, we put the filter down, but because of this long attack, this creates a wow kind of effect. Listen to how it would be without this. It would be a boom, and that's not what we want. We want a wow. We have a longer sound with a lot of release, a lot of decay, and just also a wider sound. That's why we're using a unison here. And just a little bit of low cutting just because we don't need that low end again. And if you listen to it again in context, call, our response, and our restart. Whenever I'm creating my own songs, I always like making this twice because it creates this kind of renewal and it calls back the beginning. I feel that it could be interesting, but just so you can do some variations in the sound as well. And I just want you to point out different functions that these are doing in the song. For example, we have the deepness coming from the main bass line. We have the call and the plucky sound coming from the bass pluck. We have the aggressive sound coming from this distorted layer. We have this original narrow pluck over here to kind of start a restart. And this goes wide. So we have plucky, aggressive, narrow, wide to create a lot of variation and a lot of change during the sounds. That's why it's so interesting and that's what keeps it moving along the way. So now it's your turn. Add call and response, different bass timbres, different rows, accents, responses, fills, and buildups to keep it minimal, but also keep it moving and letting the bass do the main job. Now, if you want, you can get over here the techno sound pack that we have here. It's available here. It's called Drift, and you can find it over here in the description below. And you can also find the tech house start to finish, in which I'm the tutor, and we can go from the beginning to the end in a tech house song. This is Lilo Ready from Abstract Music Lab signing off. Ciao.